This brush represents personal hygiene. As the illness progresses, individuals with dementia often forget personal hygiene. To brush their hair, brush their teeth, bathe regularly, change their clothes, and even use the toilet. They may not remember why they even need to bathe or brush their teeth. Likewise, they may forget how to comb their hair, clip their fingernails, shave, or use a toothbrush or comb.
People with dementia have difficulty with abstract thinking as the disease progresses, making numbers and money particularly troublesome. While missing an occasional monthly payment isn't something to worry about, at least in terms of the brain's health, if your loved one suddenly has difficulty handling money, paying bills, managing a budget, or even understanding what numbers represent, it could be a sign of dementia.
A can of soup represents nutrition. People with dementia can literally forget to eat and drink, especially because many dementia patients experience decreased appetite and interest in food. On the other hand, others forget that they have already eaten and as a result eat lunch or dinner multiple times a day. Oddly enough, it's not unusual for a person with dementia to develop new favourite foods and suddenly dislike foods he or she previously loved. Additionally, the person may lose the ability to tell if a food or beverage is too hot to eat or drink. They may forget to chew slowly and swallow, or they may not remember how to use eating utensils and revert to eating with their fingers.
This clock represents time. Disorientation as to time and place, such as forgetting where you live, getting easily lost and losing track of dates, seasons, and the passage of time, is a common experience for individuals with dementia. In some cases, the person might leave the house in the middle of the night to fulfill a physical need such as finding a toilet or food, or he may be attempting to go home because he doesn't realise he is home, or he believes it's 20 years earlier and he needs to go to a former job. The real issue with dementia is perception of time. 5 minutes can seem like 5 hours for someone with dementia. So a husband may think his wife has gone for hours or even weeks, even if it's just been a few minutes. Or he might tell his grandchild that he hasn't seen him in 5 years, even though he just saw them yesterday.
The keys represent losing items. Finding car keys in the freezer, the remote in a sock drawer, or routinely discovering other missing items in strange spots is usually a strong indicator that your family member may be suffering from dementia. Although we tend to associate forgetfulness with the natural aging process, people with dementia don't just occasionally forget where they left their car keys or reading glasses. They leave them in unusual places and are later unable to retrace their steps to find them. Often, they'll become suspicious and accuse someone else of hiding or stealing their belongings.
The shoe
represents dressing. Dressing is difficult for dementia patients who sometimes feel overwhelmed by the choices or may not even remember how to dress, tie a shoelace or buckle a belt. They may wear the same thing over and over again, forgetting that they wore the same outfit the day before. And as previously mentioned, buttoning and unbuttoning clothes can become difficult in the mid to late stages of AD due to a decline in motor skills.
As dementia progresses, your loved one may not always recognise you or other family members and friends, which can be heartbreaking. Recognition does come and go for a while, but in general, people forget what they've just learned or whom they've just met, then friends and family last. But sometimes it's hard to explain why someone remembers one child's name and not another. Well-practiced memories and stories last longer than newer ones, but in the very late stages, people may only remember their parents.
The human brain is the command centre for the nervous system and enables thoughts, memory, movement, and emotions by a complex function that is the highest product of biological evolution. Maintaining a healthy brain during one's life is the uppermost goal in pursuing health and longevity. As the population ages, the burden of neurological disorders and challenges for the preservation of brain health increase. It is therefore vital to understand what brain health is and why it's important. Currently, there is no universally recognised definition of brain health. Most existing definitions have only a general description of normal brain function or emphasise one or two dimensions of brain health. Brain health may therefore be defined as the preservation of optimal brain integrity and mental and cognitive function at a given age in the absence of overt brain disease that affect normal brain function. Alzheimer's disease is an irreversible progressive brain disorder that slowly destroys memory and thinking skills and eventually the ability to carry out the simplest tasks. In its early stages, memory loss is mild, but with late-stage Alzheimer's, individuals lose the ability to carry on a conversation and respond to their environment. Alzheimer's disease is thought to be caused by the abnormal buildup of proteins in and around brain cells. One of the proteins involved is called amyloid, deposits of which form plaque around brain cells. The other protein is called tau, deposits of which form tangles within brain cells. Vascular dementia is the second most common type of dementia after Alzheimer's disease, affecting around 150,000 people in the UK. The word dementia describes a set of symptoms that can include memory loss and difficulties with thinking, problem solving, or language. In vascular dementia, these symptoms occur when the brain is damaged because of the problems with the supply of blood to the brain. To be healthy and functioning properly, brain cells need a constant supply of blood to bring oxygen and nutrients. Blood is delivered to the brain through a network of vessels called the vascular system. If the vascular system within the brain becomes damaged, so that the blood vessels leak or become blocked, then blood cannot reach the brain cells and they will eventually die. This death of brain cells can cause problems with memory, thinking, or reasoning. Together, these three elements are known as cognition. When these cognitive problems are bad enough to have a significant impact on daily life, this is known as vascular dementia.
My mum is 83 years old and she has Alzheimer's. She was diagnosed 3 years ago. She was mild to moderate, but has got steadily worse. How does it make me feel about looking after her? I feel she has taken over my life at 62. I should be enjoying my retirement, but instead it's like having another child. This frustrates me and sometimes I resent her. This also makes me feel guilty and I know she can't help it, but I hate what she has become. Hello, I am a community care worker with 27 years experience in all aspects of social care. My typical day is a community care worker with a client that has dementia. If you work with someone with this condition, it is important to reassure them and make her feel safe. My job for the client is to help personal hygiene. She has regular meals, drinks and medication, but also sharing in her day. Communication is so important when working with a client who has dementia.
I'm a 70-year-old retired police officer who's recently been diagnosed with dementia. It's a terrible thing. It's your memories and your life is like an old camera that never really quite comes into focus. I guess you're really angry when you can't remember all your old pals. Although I remember Johnny because sure he stole my jelly babies. 1958 I think it was. Anyway, I'm lucky if I remember to get up and put my trousers on in the morning. But seriously, who knows how long it'll be before I forget everything, forget how to have a laugh, forget how to eat or forget how to breathe. I don't know.
My name is David and I'm a medical student that has been working in the field of dementia with elderly patients for the past 6 months. This has been a very challenging role, but has given me a better understanding and invaluable experience in this field. I knew practically nothing about dementia before I started, and if I am honest, I still need to learn a lot more, especially around the complexities of looking after dementia patients and how it differs from patient to patient. I have picked up some tips that might be useful for people entering into this field of work, but by no means am I any kind of expert in this field. In fact, that is one of the tips that I would suggest. Tip number 1. Sufficient knowledge of dementia is critical in ensuring a better quality of care. Tip number 2. Insufficient training might be responsible for misunderstandings and a lack of knowledge, resulting in misdiagnosis, late diagnosis, and unsatisfactory care provided to people living with dementia. Tip number 3. The need for training. Training improves staff experiences and patient care. Staff want to gain more understanding of dealing with patients with dementia. Factors that may be challenging would be resources, cost and time management in the ward or unit area for staff to do the training. Tip number 4. There is a need to be sufficiently prepared for the complexity of caring for people with dementia, including meeting the skills gaps of student practitioners.
So you're home, Elle. Let's go in and get ready for your daughter Hannah to come this evening. Just come on in, Elle. You can safely step across the mat. I can see that you're feeling insecure, but I'm here with you. For citizens with dementia, interpretation of sensory data
can mean that dark fields, such as, for example, a doormat, can look like a deep hole. The person can be insecure and therefore resist. Oh, it was really windy outside. Your hairbrush is in the kitchen if you would like to have your hair done. Are you looking for your hairbrush? Maybe you misheard me. It's in the bathroom. People with dementia often misinterpret instructions or lose concentration easily. My, how fine you look. Now you're just about ready to receive a visit. Shall we go into the living room so that you can show me the pictures of who is visiting? Citizens with dementia do not always recognise their own reflection in a mirror. They can feel that they are being looked at by a stranger. Sometimes a solution is to cover the mirror. No, that's not Hannah. That's your daughter Lisa. Yes, that's exactly right. It's your daughter Hannah who's coming for coffee. Do you want to listen to a little music? You can turn on the radio then. As a person with dementia, you can have difficulty remembering and recognising close relatives. The sun is out now and Hannah is coming soon. Your cup is on the coffee table. Do you want to carry it to the kitchen? Interpretation of sensory data can mean that patterns and lines can change character and appear to be living, moving, and at times frightful. You can set the cup by the kitchen sink. Good, Elle. See how nice the weather has become. Shall we let a little fresh air in? Will you open the window? Change in the weather, for example, a cloud that covers the sun, can make it such that what one sees changes character and becomes strange. For example, trees can turn into eerie silhouettes. That was really nice, wasn't it? So here comes Hannah now.